a lot of gear. Hey, it's MJ. Did you see that bald spot for a second there? That is really, when you color correct it, you get the contrast going. That's when it starts to pop out. As you can see, coming to you from the interim home studio. Had to move out of the studio for just a little while. Actually haven't made a video out of the new studio yet. With the craziness in the world, thought it was best just to move all my stuff back home. So that's where we're gonna be doing these. Haven't done a video like this in quite a while. So I really wanted to hop onto the what's in my camera bag trend, but spice it up a bit because in my case, it is what is in my camera Pelican? Let's find out. So all of my gigs lately have required a fair amount of travel, and I really wanted to get everything I possibly could into just one case. I was getting exhausted by carrying 5, 6, 7 cases. And all of my client work is on location, documentary style, sort of talking head shoots, customer testimonials, and all of them take place on location. So it really helps to have everything organized and in one place. I've managed to fairly effectively get everything camera related into one Pelican, leaving another one open for lights and a few other just sort of odd pieces of gear and extras. We'll go over that in another video or whenever I get that one actually organized. So to start, we've got the Pelican 1650 padded case. It's air and watertight, and I have been a huge fan of Pelican ever since my first day on a set. Pelican always just sort of said legit to me. The 1650 measures 30 inches by 20 inches and is almost a foot deep. It's got 2 padded layers with just one small layer lining the bottom. I opted for the pull and pluck foam because I really like to customize my cases with an individual designated area for each piece of gear. It satisfies the Virgo in me. The first 2 spots at the top are for my 2 Sony A7 IIIs. Obviously, the second one is being used to film this right now. I have a third section here that I've already pulled and plucked with the intention of getting a Sony A6600 in the near future as my third camera for some documentary work that I have coming up. So why the A6600? Well, I love that it uses the new Z battery, so it's interchangeable with the A7 III in that aspect. It doesn't have a recording limit, it shoots log, and it has the updated real-time autofocus for video. Or should Sony surprise their entire ecosystem of shooters with an A7S III or A7 IV in the near future, then that's where that'll live. In the meantime, I keep the Moment anamorphic lens adapter from my Mavic 2 Pro here because it fits real good. As I mentioned, nearly all of my work is documentary adjacent, so you might be asking why the Sony A7 III and how do you get around the recording limit? I fell in love with not only Sony and the A7 III, but also with their lineup of Zeiss and G Master lenses. I'd say the glass is probably the biggest thing about Sony that I love the most. So to get around the recording limit, I have 2 Atomos Ninja Vs or Ninja 5s that I record to. These live here, and of course the second one is being used to record this right now. These things are game changers. I'll put up a video on them at some point in time, but in the meantime, check out Gerald Undun's videos on these puppies. They are the best. Now, your only recording limitations are the size of your SSD, and in this case, I have 2 Samsung Evo 500 gigabyte drives. At ProRes 422, I'm getting about 2.5 hours of recording time per drive. For documentary stuff, that is not bad. There's space here for the Mavic 2 Pro, 2 extra batteries, and the controller. Something cool we'll go over in a minute is since the Pelican 1650 has 2 layers of foam, you can actually utilize just the top layer, or you can utilize the entire space like I did with the drone. Lenses. my favorite part. Typically, in all my interviews, I use the 24mm G Master as my wide lens and the Zeiss Bodice 85mm for the close-ups. If the location is a little tight, I will swap out the Bodice 85 with the Sony Zeiss 50mm 1.4. It is by far my sharpest and cleanest lens of the bunch. And the Bodice 85 is my go-to for all the B-roll on set. This space is where I keep my main boom mic, the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus. Now, I always mic up my subjects with both a boom and a lav mic. In both cases, I utilize the Rode Wireless Go system, which I'll get to in a minute. This is an extra lens area if I need to bring along the Bodice 25 or maybe my real estate lens, the Rokinon 14mm, but I'm always kind of keeping it open for that 135mm G Master. Right now, I use it to store my variable ND filters for both the Sony lenses and the Mavic 2 Pro. Right now, I use the K&F Concepts polarizers. They're pretty inexpensive, and I haven't really seen any noticeable issues when using them with the high-end lenses. But one of these days, I'll grab a McKinnon filter, and I'll let you know if there's a difference. I also keep my business cards in this slot. You'll never have them when you need them, so it's best to just keep them with your gear. Then over here, I've got the section cut out for the Moza Aircross 2, which replaced my Moza Air 2. The batteries died, and I haven't gotten replacements. It was literally easier to just buy a new gimbal since I had a shoot the next day. So if you want a great Air 2 that just needs new batteries, let me know. I'll give you a great deal. The stand and mounting bracket just sitting here along with the most important piece of gear I own, the rocket blower. If you don't have one, get one. It saves the day almost every day. And down here, we've got an area for the Moza iFocus M for the gimbal. And over here, the headphones. I know, this is the part where everyone dies because I actually do use the Beats Studio 3 as my main monitoring headphones. The noise cancellation is just really nice because I'm just picking up exactly what's on set. And yes, I do actually use them to edit with. Commence with death by comments. Okay, secret compartment down here. We've got the store of backup batteries, NPF batteries for the Ninja 5, backup Sony Z batteries for the A7 IIIs, and gimbal accessories. And as you can see, the Mavic 2 Pro is nestled nicely between the two layers here, nice and secure. I also have both of my Rode Wireless Go setups stored here with an additional lav mic just in case I need it, the Tascam DR10L. Now, in all of my interview setups, I use one Rode Wireless Go that's plugged into the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus, and that's transmitting to my A camera, which is usually the wide angle, the 24 or the 25mm. And then I have one Wireless Go that's using the Tascam's lav mic on the subject that's transmitting to the B camera. So that way I always have two clean sources of audio on two different channels on the two cameras. Now it should also be mentioned that I do send my sound directly to the Ninja 5, not to the cameras themselves. I'll definitely be putting together a video on my complete interview setup process soon. So there you have it. That's what's in my Camera Pelican. This travel system is pretty much where my gear lives when it's not being used, so it's also a great place to store your gear, although it's not often that it's just stuck in there, but it is a great, safe, and secure place to store everything together. Now, I hope that this video was helpful and creates a nice bit of organizational inspiration for some of you. I have links to all the things in the description, and so what better time than now to do some internet shopping. Anyway, I usually sign off with now get out there and be creative, but in this case, why don't you grab your camera, stay in one place, and make something great. We'll see you on the next one. Be safe, you crazy monkeys.